Yesterday, I talked to you about why strength and justice switch numbers in different tarot decks and why, where it came from. And also, I talked about why it doesn't really matter. Whatever works for you, works for you. But today, I wanted to talk about why I think both have a valid case and how you can use both to really help your own personal and spiritual growth in tarot. So let's get into it. In the Marseille, you can look at the Chariot, Justice, and Hermit. Now, these three are really interesting together. The Chariot is often seen as kind of like you're finally breaking free from the village that you grew up in, the family you grew up in, and are doing your own thing, finding your own path in your own way. And then after that, we have Justice, which could be a time of righting wrongs or personal wrongs, coming to some conclusions, coming to some balance after that time of the Chariot. And the wisdom that you learn from being in the place of justice, you then become a hermit to study and go deeper with those things that you have learned. Then we get to the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune is how are we being upended? How are we changing our worldview and our spiritual view based on that contemplative practice of the hermit? And what we come to is fortitude, which is one of the cardinal virtues in tarot. And fortitude is about you are now a more balanced, more well-rounded, more holistic individual as a result of the process that has that you have undergone. Finally, bringing you to the Hanged Man, which can also mean a time of surrender and release. So we can see that from an esoteric or spiritual perspective, that these archetypes just keep drawing us into order and then destabilizing that order, into order and destabilizing that order, forcing you to relearn everything you thought was true and keeping you always on the path of growth, that we are never at the end of that journey. Now, in the Rider-Waite-Smith versions, we have the Chariot, Strength, and the Hermit. And so it takes a bit of a shift. And we see often the Fool's Journey, which I think a lot of people know about that follow this. Like the Chariot is, again, that young person leaving home. And then Strength, that they come to a place of integration between maybe their more physical brute force aspects and their more logical or empathetic aspects. And with that balancing piece of integration, we can come to do the deeper work that the hermit only invites those who can ascend the mountain. And from those lessons, we then come to the Wheel of Fortune. Everything gets upended, but that chaos is stopped by the ultimate balance of justice. The Hanged Man then is finally after that. Now, this makes a lot of sense to me too, because one of the traditional meanings of the Hanged Man is the traitor. So we see the traitor now having his his punishment after having dealt with the merciful and objective hand of justice. The other thing I really like about this too is as you start to get into the double-digit major arcana, you can add them up to get to the secret arcana below that. So if we add Justice, which is 11, which is 1 plus 1, we get to 2. And 2 in the major arcana is the High Priestess. So we can see that the High Priestess is kind of like the secret other or secret spiritual archetype that's also powering justice at a later level of development. So yeah, let me know which one do you prefer and why.